Waiting for the...
They're getting ready to start right now. Welcome, everyone. How to conduct a maintenance assessment of your maintenance process. I know you're wondering, where do I stand? Where am I at? And I'm going to help you with that today. Now, once you understand Upkeep, CMMS, they're the ones that sponsor these webinars for free. If you're looking for CMMS, I recommend you go to this website, www.onupkeep.com. Okay, because without them, we wouldn't have these free webinars. All right, let's move on. So, questions. All right. So, I want to text your answers. Okay. So, one, is your current maintenance process reactive? Yes or no? Yes. So most people saying yes. Does your current maintenance department have a dedicated maintenance planner? Yes or no? %60% no, 40% yes. I expected that. Okay. Is your current maintenance cost too high? Yes or no? Or if you don't know, then just don't answer. Yes. Okay, good. That's what I expected. Does your maintenance department have an effective PM program? When I mean effective, are you got high PM compliance, but you still have a lot of emergency work or urgent work? Yes or no? Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Or storeroom stockouts rare. In other words, the CMMS says the part's there and you go to the storeroom and it's not there. Or maybe it says it's not there, but every time you go there, you keep having these stockouts. It's not there. Okay. Again, no. Does your organization have a plant scorecard for all to see? Okay. So what's the score of the plant? How's the plant overall? So when you walk in the plant, there should be a screen there, gives you the metrics of saying how good are we doing or how bad are we doing? What do we need to focus on? No. Okay. Good. Hey, we're batting 1,000 right now. Okay. Do you know what a leading and lagging KPRs are? Do you know what they are? Do you understand that statement? Leading and lagging KPIs. Yes. Okay. Good. So reasons why companies should conduct an assessment, and all it is an assessment is just to evaluate your current state against what future state should look like. So reasons why companies should conduct an assessment: maintenance and production leadership are not educated and trained in known maintenance and reliability best practices. Thus, they're not aligned. Everybody's got their own idea how we're supposed to be doing things. Maintenance dashboards, either non-existent or no one's paying attention to them. You look at this one, I got PM compliance is showing 100% of planned work, 40% schedule compliance, 100%. Work order closeout accurately. What is that? That's a random pulling of work orders after they've been closed out by the planner. Typically, it's going to be 10 or 15 or something just to make sure they're accurate or not. It just gives you a baseline. I mean, give you an understanding where you're at. Rework, maintenance rework. We have to go back and do the job again. It's 14. Maintenance cost 12%. And that's as a percent of replacement and asset value. Okay. So maintenance cost continues to be out of control, but no one knows what to do about it. I mean, this is probably a good reason why you may need to do an assessment, and we're going to do one today. Okay. So if we look at cost, okay? Typical world-class. So maintenance costs from a typical plant is a percent of replacement asset value. This is the world-class standard, okay? But typical is 3.5 to 9%. Now look at world-class. This is for maintenance costs, 2 to 3%. So what is that? That means we're spending three times as much money on to get the reliability we get. And it's probably not very good reliability when your maintenance costs are that high. Maintenance materials costs, same thing. 1 to 3.5%. Look how low it is for world class, 0.25, to 0.75%. Unbelievable the difference in it. Maintenance rinse time is low. That hands-on tool time, so a rinse time study or a work sampling study is aimed at identifying and then eliminating and mitigating the time spent on non-value-added tasks, like looking for parts. I don't know how many of you, have a planned job, and then you find out that you can't find the parts. Then I bet text this in to me. This would be a good one. I'd like to know if you've seen that. So what you do is how much time your time do you spend looking for parts, or your maintenance technicians spend looking for parts? That's just one of many non-value-added tasks, by the way. Okay. Yep. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. So how's the assessment scored? Okay. So these are typically the score totals. Okay. 0 to 500 is totally reactive. Reliability principles not understood or applied. And the whole outcome of it, need to educate all management and engineering and reliability and develop reliability strategy for serious change. Has to be a change. I mean, you have to have an intervention. It's like if you're an alcoholic, you got to admit you drink alcohol before you can solve the problem. Here we got to admit we're reactive before we can solve the problem. Okay. And then what can you do? Attend training and maintenance and reliability best practices. Okay. So if you score between 501 and 700, it's emerging. You got a long way to go. That's okay. Need to develop a business case. Okay. Business case is, how much are we losing versus where we need to be? Okay. So let's just say that production rate is at 47%. So do we really need to increase that? I would think so, unless you don't have any sales. And if that's true, you're probably not in business. So you need to develop a business case and reliability strategy with timeline, targets, and objectives. A target is you meet at like 3 months, 12 months, and so on, and then what is the objective of it, and so on. 701 to 850, proactive, continue the journey. You're headed in the right direction. So you're making great progress. You're really doing well. And then you need to ensure continuous improvement process is built into your asset reliability process. Identify the gaps in the assessment and fill the gaps. That's what we want to do, is fill the gaps. World class, hire an outside consulting firm to assess your current state and make recommendations if any changes required. Great job. Very few companies have ever been to world class. Okay, I can tell you. Alcoa is one of the few that has reached this objective, not just in one plant, but in most of their plants around the world. So why conduct a maintenance assessment? We'll identify gaps in the maintenance process. I always say if a step in a process is skipped or performed at a substandard level, it creates defects known as failures. So what do you think? Everybody, each one of you texts in, what do you think? What is the gap in your maintenance process? Is it planning? Is it scheduling? Is it preventive maintenance? Is it work execution? Is it work order closeout? Is it rework? What is the gap in your maintenance process? Everybody text one in. Planning, yeah. I see that in most places. Preventive maintenance, yeah, I see that a lot too. That's good. immature department. Yeah. Sometimes when leadership changes, it happens, or people leave and you have to hire new people. Reliability, not engaged in reliability. That's a good one. I like that. I like that one. Okay. Too many PMs with no value. Hallelujah. I absolutely agree. Why are we performing preventive maintenance and the PMs add no value? They're not impacting reliability. All right. All right. Let's move on. So use the assessment. Use assessment to establish a baseline when an organization wants to improve or optimize a maintenance process. So we need to establish where are we before we take that next step. So you look at the gaps and you can look at the assessment and say, okay, if I improve this one thing, I can make a big jump, because what organizations have, their leaders want to see change fairly quickly. They don't want to say, well, we're going to get it in 3 to 5 years or whatever. I want up front, if we're going to move forward, I want them to see something that they go, wow, we're making an impact. Why conduct it? To create a plan to move from current state to a desired future state, whatever that is. Proactive, whatever it is. Lower costs. Never use lower cost, okay? Because that's not a good one. To the cost or the cost, I always say. Use the assessment to identify quick wins. What are quick wins? There's something like you guys are talking about preventive maintenance. If you did a PM optimization, so this is a quick win. All right. If you were to conduct a PM optimization in one of your worst operating areas and do it to standard, the change that you would make on those assets would be incredible. I mean, the reliability would increase dramatically. Then the output of the assessment is creating a master plan based on crawl, walk, run methodology. Once we crawl well, okay, then we start walking. When we can walk well, then we get into the run mode. A lot of companies, when they conduct an assessment or try to change things, they want to run right away. Well, that doesn't necessarily work well, I promise you. So steps to continue to conducting a maintenance assessment, establish a baseline, okay? Total cost as a percent of insured asset value, also call it replacement of asset value, but to get a replacement asset value, what the definition of replacement asset value is if you were to, what is the cost to replace the plant, the utilities, the parking lot, everything? What does that cost? To get that, it's not a real good way to do it. I use the insured value. So if you ask the plant manager or the comptroller, what is the insured value of the plant? And they give you that number. So this just establishes a baseline. That's all. Okay. So whatever that maintenance cost is right now, as a percentage of replacement asset value, that gives us a baseline. Now, what's going to happen is costs will go up as you start improving, but you've got to spend money to make money. And then the cost should go down below what anybody's ever seen before, or at least in the last 5 to 10 years. Maintenance cost is maintenance material cost is a percent of insured asset value. So a replacement asset value. I believe in measuring, the safety part of it, because safety and reliability, direct correlation. So measure near misses, lost time accidents, OSHA reportables, whatever, however you got to do that. So think about this. We're establishing the baselines, all we're doing right now. Now we want to educate all stakeholders in maintenance and reliability best practices, okay? So typically, plant, site management, it's about an hour. It's all about the money. When you're talking about site leadership or plant management or BP, you got to talk money. That's what you got to talk about. Safety, the director. Why? Because the correlation between safety and reliability, okay, it's only 1 hour presentation. This is what I would recommend, okay? But if we look at this chart that I just pulled up, what it shows is the direct correlation. So as our OEE starts to increase, okay, what we have is our cost, our injury rate goes down. It's amazing. It simply is amazing, but people don't believe it. So this came from a large industrial manufacturer, but I've seen it at a lot of places. Okay. Production, they really need to get educated just for 1 hour. That's all you're going to get them in there. So that's what you need to do. The bottom line up front with them. Maintenance leadership and technicians, 60 minutes. Then create a master plan with stakeholders to include quick wins, okay? And implement that crawl, walk, run methodology. All right. So what is a maintenance assessment? The biggest challenge organizations face is to know the status of their current maintenance and reliability process and developing a plan to close the gap between current state and desired performance. In an assessment, you'll be given specific questions to answer in order to define the gap between maintenance and reliability process, current performance, and what is defined as best practices. Okay, so, and if you wonder if you got a question, say, I'm not sure if we're there or not, you always go to the lower denominator. Okay. All answers should be yes. If not, then this area may be explored more in depth. If you're unsure about the question or answer, then just answer the question no. I'm not quite sure. It's no. Okay, that's the answer. Remember, this assessment is only used to help an organization determine its gaps between current desired performance. I've done a lot of these. I have to tell you, I've been in management. I've met with management in some places. They have a different idea of what they're going to do with the assessment. I don't get into those new ideas or other ideas. If you want to improve maintenance performance and reliability performance, yes, I'm all in. But otherwise, count me out. Because there's other reasons for it sometimes because it's a way of them saying maybe we can reduce some people. I don't get into that. Never. It's recommended this assessment performed with representatives from all stakeholders. This includes the plant manager, maintenance and engineering manager, production management, operators, personnel, maintenance planners, storeroom management. You need to have all the stakeholders. You don't mean all the stakeholders in there. You need to have representatives of stakeholders. Okay, so you may have in there like a maintenance personnel. You may have 2 mechanics, 1 electrician, probably the ones with the worst attitude because they'll tell you more. Planners, I probably have 1, storeroom management 1, operators, maybe 3 or 4, and so on. The output of the maintenance assessment, this is the output of it, is a 3 to 5 year master plan. Okay. So I'm going to show you a master plan. So this is one, if we were to create one, this is just an example. Okay. So the tasks on the vertical. So if we look at the task, maintenance best practices training. So we start that in January. Let's just say, I'm just creating it. Okay. So we have best maintenance practices training. Next is the maintenance assessment. Create the master plan. So in that master plan, what's next? Oh, excuse me. Let me move on. Establish baselines, metrics, and costs. RACI charts. You need to have roles and responsibilities defined for every step in your maintenance process. Okay, so now we go to February. You see, we're moving forward with this maintenance best practices, that part of this assessment master plan. So March, we start planning and scheduling training. Okay, then we go to April, best maintenance technician training, teaching technicians what is the best way to do something. When I worked at Alcoa Mahali or Alumax at the time, technician training was all the time. We got trained all the time. Now we were assessed before we came in. When they hired us, they hired the ones that passed. But like the way it worked, the assessment was this was a skills assessment. Okay, so the first 3 nights you took written tests. Each night, you were told whether you come out the next night. Because if you didn't pass that test on the first night, you're not coming back for the second night, and so on. So in February, planning and scheduling implementation by area, scorecards, and then our PM optimization on the first production area, and then implement planning and scheduling in one area. In June, we're RACI charts. We want to make sure we get them all done. So we'll start it in January, but we don't get complete until probably around June. Okay. Planning and scheduling, implementation. So we implemented one area. Now we're going to another area. Preventive maintenance training. PM optimization on the first production area. I told you this is a quick win for you if you're trying to get management's attention to move forward, with an assessment or a master plan. And again, we're going to move to the next area, planning, scheduling, implementation by area. So now February, we implemented in one area, April another, and June another. All right. So now we're going to conduct a maintenance assessment, or you are. Okay. Each person should have received the link to the assessment in your text box. Open the assessment sent to you and score the maintenance and reliability function. So if you go down, just listen to me before you start moving. Okay. So okay. So you just should have just got the assessment. Okay. Question for participant: do you measure safety only in maintenance department or site-wide? It's site-wide. If you got a lot of safety incidents and maintenance, you got it site-wide. There's no doubt. So what I want you to do is open the assessment that was sent to you and score the maintenance and reliability functions. Okay. So I'm just going to show you one to begin with. All right. Let's just take the one to the left. To the right. It says key principles, maintenance and reliability process principles. Does management have roles and responsibilities defined for all of the maintenance staff? Yes or no? Does management know and manage with leading key performance indicators? Yes or no? There's no in between. Okay. It's either yes or no. All right. Then when you go through it, you're going to score yourself. So at the bottom of this one, so what you did, a total number of yes answers, all right, times 10. So if you got 2 times 10, you got 20. So there's a number of areas you're going to go into, but the first one will be this one. If you have questions, just let me know. Okay. So everybody should have the assessment now. If you don't understand a question in the assessment, then your answer is no. All right. So I'm going to count the times. You got 30 minutes. If you're finished sooner, just text Heather and let her know once everybody's finished, or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. Take your time. Like I say, if you don't know whether the answer is yes or no, then it's no. If you're uncertain, you want to be 100% positive where you are in it. Okay. So if anybody's having a problem, please text Katie. Excuse me, Heather. Don't get in a rush. Remember when I said if you don't know the answer to the question, or you're unsure about it, or confused about the question, then the answer is no. All right, we got 15 minutes left. I'll give you the last warning at 5 minutes if you're not finished. But if you are finished, please let us know. Just text Heather and let her know. We have about 12 minutes left. All right, text in your score. All right. I see a number of you finished, so go ahead and give us your score. Where are you at? Where are you at right now? 680. Okay. 65. 260. 180. 100. Okay. I hope that you see the value of the assessment. Now, the thing about the assessment to me is that you need to do this. When you go back to your operation, you may want to sit down, take this assessment. That's why I gave you a copy of it, because it isn't about, okay, I learned something in here. It's about going back and identify the current state. Where are you in your organization? This assessment came from my book, mine and Keith Mobley's book on rules of thumb for maintenance and reliability engineers. So this is where this came from. Now, so I'm going to ask you, when you go back, is sit down with key leaders or key stakeholders and go through this assessment. And I'd like to hear back from you. So let's move on from here. That's good. Everybody seems to be doing good. Okay. So possible problems with lessons learned, on this, no buy-in, could have lack of discipline and execution in your plan. So if you create a plan to move from current state to future state, you could have lack of discipline and execution. Key stakeholders don't buy into the plan. Even though you've done the assessment with you, they still may not buy into the plan. And then RACI charts, roles and responsibilities. If you don't know how to do that, you can go to my website. I got a lot of RACI charts on there. So you can go and download whatever you want. Maintenance KPI dashboard is not created and not accurate. Okay. These are what causes our problems that we have in organizations. Training not be provided because leadership believes technicians, planners, etc., already possess the knowledge and skills. There's no way we're going to remember everything. Okay. So getting training is a big deal. All right. So last words. I'm recommending you join the Slack group by Upkeep. The link's been sent to you by Heather. Register key personnel to attend training on the following. Okay, I got preventive maintenance best practices workshop plus PM optimization coming up July 20th to 22. All right, it's going to be all virtual, so there's not going to be any live. It'll be live, but it'll be live on Zoom is what it'll be. There's my website. There's Heather's website, and there's my email address. So does anybody have any comments or questions? Did you get anything out of the day? Text it in. Text it to Heather. Give me one thing that you took out of today. Good idea where to start changing culture and measure where they are. Yeah, great point. If you don't measure it, it's going to be hard to change the culture. Key point to help create buy-in. Yeah, this is a great way. This assessment, that's why I gave you a copy of it, because you can go down, sit down with key stakeholders, and then have them go through the assessment with you, and then you'll get awareness, and then immediately you'll find, be prepared for it, because say, okay, what do you want to do? What do we need to do about it? Okay. And if you have questions, you can always email me. There's my email address on that. All right. Who else? assessment framework to help mature asset management journey? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. So you know your current state and you know where you are in this journey, because it is a journey. It never ends. Know what people and data are needed? Yeah, absolutely. The other one for buy-in, okay. How to assess how far we are. Yeah. I mean, everybody has some good things that are going on, which you should be proud of. But we got to learn to bring them together, to align them together to give us success. And that's what the assessment does. All right. Anybody else? Heather, go ahead. I think you type in it. That's all. All right. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a good evening or good day, wherever you're at in the world. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully you'll see us again next week for the next webinar. And if you have questions, again, just email me. Thank you, and have a great day.